What's up, Meditation Club? Long time no see, but I have to make a new YouTube video for the channel, for the supporters. I couldn't make a video in a long time because I was grinding. Had to get that money, had to get that volunteer experience, had to feed my family, you know what I mean? But I was thinking, what can I make a video on? I had a few ideas. Summarizing the books that I read, because nobody wants to read books. Summarizing the best stories and messages in the Bible. Or number 3, the best mindset for the grind. And I chose number 3 for the video. Basically, I feel like I've made a lot of videos in the past about this is the habit you have to do to get the grind up. Take a piece of paper, write your goals, write your sub goals, go to the gym, think about your self-esteem, whatever. But I was like, it all traces back to the mindset, okay? Because you could have, everyone has the same goals ultimately, you know, happiness, financial security, be strong and sexy, things like that. But how do we get the mindset to get there? And the first of everything is you do not rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. And your standards are like your expectations. And so the first thing to do is set standards for yourself. Set things that you find the world doing. I talked about that before. What the world doing ain't always right. And be like, okay, this is my standard. And you're going to fall to that. Okay? So some people's standard is laying in bed all day and watching Netflix. That's what they're willing to accept from themselves. Tell yourself, I'm not willing to accept that for myself. I'm willing to accept this and this and this and this and this and this and this for myself. So for example, that could be, you know, your friends could be talking about, oh, you know, we've been meeting these girls on dating apps. We've been going out, we've been partying, we've been clubbing, and you don't agree with those things? Okay, well, you have your standards, and your standards are just like not doing that. So you're never going to fall into temptation to do those kind of things because you've already set standards for yourself rather than like, oh, I hope I can't go club this weekend. I have to, you know, you're not relying on willpower anymore if you have a standard set for yourself. That's an easy one right there. The next one is remember that every decision that you make or don't make, your self-esteem and overall your grind mindset remembers what decision you made. Every time that you want to go to the gym and you don't. Every time that you want to go approach some stranger and you don't. Every time that you want to go do something you're uncomfortable doing or scared of doing and you don't. Your self-esteem remembers. And that therefore sets that standard I was talking about, right? Because if now, whenever you see someone you want to approach, but you're too scared to, next time you see someone you want to approach, but you're too scared to, you're like, hey, well, last time I did it and it was fine. This is my standard I've set for myself. But it will also remember if you push past that fear, if you push past that discomfort and you go up and you talk to that stranger, if you go to the gym on those days you don't want to, and it'll set like a precedent for where you're going to reach. And all of this really comes down to like knowing what you want. And I feel like a lot of people are too distracted. I was this way too, where you're too distracted by your phone, you're too distracted by everything going on around you. You're always listening to music, you're always listening to a podcast, you're always doing something to where you never have time to think about, okay, what do I want for myself? What am I actually doing? And some people have the opposite problem where they're too caught up in the future, where they're visualizing their graduation, they're visualizing what life is going to look like, they're visualizing that test coming up in a few weeks rather than taking things one day at a time. So it's all about finding a balance between those two and kind of knowing what you want while still remaining in the day and still remaining present instead of just always thinking about the future. Because the reality is the best thing to do, Boy Scouts, be prepared, right? Plan ahead. And when you plan ahead, it's like, okay, I know what I want for myself. I know what I need to do to get there. But also, you can plan some obstacles, right? You know what obstacles are going to come your way. If your goal is to approach a bunch of random people to lower your, social anxiety, for example, you know what's going to come in the way. You're going to get a resistance right when you go up to them. Some people will be on their phone and be like, nah, man, you can think of obstacles that will come your way. If you want to go to the gym and you have, oh, I'm sleepy, oh, I'm too busy, you can think of obstacles that will come your way. Plan around them. Be prepared. That's the best mindset, right? You know what you need to do. I said this before. Once you make your goal, you can make a sub-goal. Say your goal is to learn Spanish. You already know your sub-goal. Practice Spanish for 30 minutes a day, right? If your goal is to get an A in this class, you know your sub-goal. Study every day for 2 hours, right? You know what you have to do, and you're going to fall to your expectation. So your expectation would rely you to better understand how you're going to reach the sub-goal. And so that means that you better understand what obstacles might come your way. I love to make the videos. 2 topics. So the second topic, we'll talk about books that I've read. I don't have the books on me. I would love to hold them up and wave them around, but I'm in college. I didn't bring all the books. I already read them, right? Books that I've read, probably top 3 books that I've read. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. And Psychopath book, 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. Probably top 3. If you're a guy watching all these, I don't know, what I get on my YouTube is like books you need to read. If you're getting that kind of video, you've heard all those books, and those are the GOAT books, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People. Quick summary of that is people care about themselves. Appeal to them. If you want them to do something for you, influence people. Do something for you. Appeal to them. Explain to them how it will benefit you. How do you do this? Better understanding them, right? If you really understand what they want, what their goals are, what they're like, then you'll be able to appeal to them, appeal to their own self-interest, and say, hey, if you help me out with this, if you help me study, if you do this and that, it will bring this for you. And that's ultimately like, if you read anything ever about networking, that's the essence of like networking, or like meeting people and like trying to climb your way to higher positions in life, is knowing what the other person wants and then trying to like be like, hey, this is going to benefit you if you do this for me. Hey, hire me and I promise I'll break all your sales goals. I'll make you a ton of money. Say that in the interview and the guy's like, hey, this guy's going to make me a ton of money if he cares about money, right? If he says, hey, I understand that you really want a positive work environment. I'm bringing that positivity, right? Understand what they want, appeal to that, and then in turn they will give you what you want. Book 2, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a Jew in the Holocaust, and he wrote that people in the Holocaust, basically he was like a psychotherapist, meaning that he gave like that kind of therapy where they ask questions to the person over and over. So he gave that kind of therapy, and when he was in the Holocaust camps, he realized that the people who would cling on for life more than anyone else, the people who would be able to survive on the least food and the worst conditions, were the people who had a greater sense of purpose, right? And the same thing Jordan Peterson talks about, it's the same thing pretty much any good psychologist or psychology guy will tell you about, is that you need a meaning, you need a purpose, you need something that's going to get you out of bed every morning. And if you don't have it, if you're just completing goals without a greater sense of meaning, without a greater sense of purpose, people ask me, again, I'm not perfect, okay? I'm lazy all the time. I'm dumb all the time. I make mistakes all the time. But people ask me, Oliver, where do you get this motivation to like study super hard? Because I got this goal, I got this vision of me doing stuff one day with the career that I built and providing for a family and et cetera, et cetera. So it just flows, because I'm like, this is what I have to do to get there. And if you don't have that meaning or purpose, I got another video somewhere talking about how to find your purpose in life. And I feel like maybe if I die one day randomly and I have a kid, you can show them these videos and be like, this is what your dad was like when he was young. So got the whole freaking catalog right here. This is linked into this. It's like a whole encyclopedia. All right, book 3, 48 Laws of Power. The reason I said psychopath book is a lot of these laws seem pure evil. One of them is pose as a friend, work as a spy. One of them is play a sucker to catch a sucker, right? Laws like that. But you'll see over and over again in the world these laws being implemented, and they work for people. They make them powerful. They make them higher esteemed, right? You look at, some famous musician who disappears for a few years. One of the 48 Laws of Power, increase your absence, increase your respect. So people will back away from the spotlight, and it will only increase the spotlight upon them, right? You'll be like, hey, what the heck, this is one of the 48 laws. So I have to recommend that book. Somewhere online you can find a summary, because it's a dense book. Each law has like a whole bunch of long stories from history of people using it. But once you read it, you remember a couple of the laws, you'll be like, this guy's trying to use this on me. This guy's trying to use this on the teacher. This guy's trying to use this on my dad. This guy's using this in, I don't know, in the famous people world, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll just kind of wake you up to the maneuvers that people do. All right. So again, you fall to your standards. Everyone has the same goals, whatever, but you have standards for yourself. Set your own standards. Figure out where you want to be. What am I willing to accept for myself? Plan accordingly. Be like, oh, okay. What I'm willing to accept for myself is I go to the gym 4 days a week. Obstacles that might come up. How am I going to overcome them? Figure it out. Plan. This one millionaire guy has a book called Your Next 5 Moves. Knowing your next 5 moves, being the most planned person in the room, you're going to figure stuff out. You're going to crush the competition, bro. 100%. Sorry for the long wait on the upload. Those are my top 3 books. I recommend anyone, if you're just going to read 3 books, probably the best. I've read big stack of books. Again, I'm not a genius. I'm not a super person. I make mistakes. Some of these books, I read some. I read 4 pages. I say this book sucks. And I close it and I never read it again, even though it's one of the best books ever. Hey, for me. I'm not perfect, okay? Sorry for the long wait for the upload. I was grinding. All right, I had a job. I had volunteering. I had this and that. I'm here in college. I'm in organic chemistry now, okay? Who would have thought? Who would have thought that I would be in organic chemistry? God's plan. Trusting God. Bible study tonight for me. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, let me know. I love everybody who's still watching the Oliver Meditation Club videos. I can't believe this thing is still going. I just like making these videos because I like to just record what I'm thinking. That way, if I'm ever in like a bad place, or if I'm ever trying to explain something to someone and I don't remember what I was saying. So in a way, these videos are for myself, but they're also for whoever wants to watch them. And I know, you know, some people really do, and I really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all really the best. All right. Hey, I'll fit check real quick. Boy, look at these cool cargo pants, boy. Oh my God, this is that SAR. Oh, look at this cool shirt. Got a race car. Oh boy, you know I'm dripping.